I would say the panic has set in. The past couple of segments I did on this channel, Kamala Harris's campaign seems to be spiraling out of control. Rumors that they want to go on the Joe Rogan show, but they skipped out on Time magazine, which is absurd considering past presidents, including Trump and Biden, gave Time magazine those interviews. But Kamala Harris says no. They don't know what to do. She is burning down in the polls. Trump is skyrocketing in the betting markets. And here is one of the worst indicators for a Kamala Harris presidency. Now, I must say, as we get started, Kamala can win. I don't think Trump's got it in the bag. I don't know for sure. Certainly, the argument as of right now favors a Trump candidacy, a Trump victory. But based on what we're seeing and based on what we've seen, shadow campaign, I don't know what to tell you. But take a look at this from Mediaite. CNN's Harry Enton breaks down Kamala Harris's very, very weak performance with black men and women. It's gotten so bad that Kamala is outright offering up more illegal administrative policy, promising to make $20 billion in forgivable loans available only for black entrepreneurs, which is illegal, by the way. We have something called the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which says that you can't do this. They'll make some argument or something like this, but for the government to offer taxpayer cash, it's a violation of civil rights. You cannot give someone benefits based on their race. Now, when it comes to the question of reparations, they say, well, that's not race. If you're a defendant of slaves. Which means there's going to be white people who have slavery ancestry. I'm not kidding. There's going to be a dude who's like 1/32nd, black or whatever. And he's like, well, I had an ancestor back in the day. He was black. He was a slave. But he's like a white dude. That's the rules. Kamala Harris can't offer this stuff, but she is. And the reason is because she's losing. When in doubt, Kamala Harris says, I'm just going to offer you free stuff.
Senior data reporter Harry Enton is here. The need for outreach to black men, Harry, appears to be pretty stark in some of the numbers you're seeing.
Yeah, let's talk about young black men in particular. Sometimes there's a trend line. I look at the polls all the time, and sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back.
Wow, I got to pause real quick. So we'll step back so I can break this down because he's showing the screen. Obama was up 81 points among black men 18 to 44, Clinton 63, Biden 53, Harris 41. I mean, look, those are still big numbers. But this is the burning down of the Democratic Party among black men in general. And I think this is why they choose Harris. They think they're going to play up that she is black. Therefore, it's going to earn them points. But what do we hear? A lot of black people have been saying she's not part of the community. She did not spend her life with them saying, this is who I am. She spent a lot of time saying she was South Asian, that she was Indian. Now, hold on. I'm not going to play that game. Okay, I'm not South Asian, Southeast Asian. I'm not black or anything like that. But I hear what they're saying. They wanted, if you really want to bring out a candidate, like you get Obama. Obama says, I know what you're talking about. I was a community organizer. I've been there. Kamala Harris did not say those things. But let's keep playing.
Presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012. What do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53.
Wow.
A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, when Barack Obama goes in last week,
the
when he was in
lowest since 1960. Can you believe this?
Essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened in this case. How about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture. We're looking once again, if younger black men, it looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon.
And this is because it's Gen Z and millennial black men. They are based AF. Not all of them. A lot of them are still supporting Democrats. But I'm going to tell you this, right? There's a lot of memes, a lot of ideas. And I can speak to this not as a part of any racial group, but from where I grew up on the South Side. The general idea among many of us would be, that's how I feel right now. If you're some dude and you don't pay attention to politics, the people where I grew up, And again, it's an eclectic group of people, various races, but many of the street people and the gangbangers wanted to be hard. That's what they call it. I don't know. You want to be hard. It means you want to be tough. You want to be tough as nails. You want to be carved out of stone. You don't want to be a wad of cookie dough. You vote for Kamala Harris. Dude, I'm sorry. Okay? You walk up to the crew on the South Side and be like, yo, I just voted for Harris. They're going to start busting out laughing. She is mainstream, cringe, corporate. Donald Trump's a bad boy. That's it. The more they do this, the more they're just saying Trump is bad. But not bad as, like, they're actually literally saying Trump is a bad guy. But what they're telling people is he's the renegade. He's the renegade fugitive. He's the convicted felon. He is the guy sticking his finger in the eye of the machine. And so you want to be with the renegade. You want the bandito. You want the dude, the cowboy. You want the Dillinger. You don't want the stodgy, cringe woman going, ha, 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 ha. I'm sorry, dude. And that's for guys. So when they're looking at young black men, I can't speak for the black community. I can speak for, the mixed race area I grew up in, which had a lot of black people there. But this is the sentiment that we feel.
It's the same thing among black men overall. Again, part of a similar trend, but here actually the drop-off isn't as dramatic, right? Barack Obama won him by 85. Then you see 71 with Clinton, 69. Biden, basically the same thing, holding steady. But here, again, very, very weak. Only a 54-point margin.
Wow,
now, again,
dude.
Still winning them by a large margin, but considerably lower than what we're used to. Certainly considerably lower what we had during the Obama years. The bottom line is Kamala Harris with younger black men and then black men overall putting in historically weak performance for a Democratic candidate.
It's apocalyptic. There was an article several years ago. I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it. But they were basically saying, I think it was Wall Street Journal, that if the Democratic Party does not secure 80% of the black vote, they cannot win. And there was speculation because some polls showed Trump was around 20 to 21%. Didn't work out that way, but Trump did improve quite a bit. I got to tell you right now, I got friends and I got family. And I remember having these discussions in 2020. And they were like, oh, Trump is bad. I'm not going to vote for that guy. They ain't saying that anymore. Now they're just saying, yeah, I know. We're pointing out things like, hey, wages aren't going up. Yeah, I know. The border, I mean, look at what's happening in Chicago. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say that they're coming out and waving MAGA flags or any mega flags or anything like that, but the conversations are markedly different. It's no longer the, oh, no, that's not true. It's the, yeah, I know. At least that's what I've seen from a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. There's a handful of people who are like, I'm with Trump now. I'm pissed. Well, look what Kamala Harris' strategy is. Promise to make $20 billion in forgivable loans available only for black entrepreneurs. Yeah, that you can't do that, okay? It will give out 1 million loans up to $20K that are fully forgivable to black entrepreneurs and others to start businesses. The loans would be financed through partnerships with mission-driven lenders. The announcement comes in the final stretch of the 24 race. The plan also includes mentorship programs and training to help black men get jobs in high-demand industries, as well as additional investments in the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program to help recruit and retain black male teachers. The PSFL forgives student loan debts after 10 years for borrowers who work in certain nonprofit or government jobs. Harris has also vowed to support federal-level marijuana legalization, an economy where people don't just get by, but get ahead, where black men are equipped with the tools to thrive, to buy a home, to provide for our families, start a business, and build wealth. She will also fight to ensure that as the national cannabis industry takes shape, black men who have for years been over-policed for marijuana use are able to access wealth and jobs in this new market. According to CNN's 2020 exit polling, 87% of black voters cast their ballot for Biden, 12% for Trump. A New York Times Santa College poll released Saturday found 78% of black voters plan to vote for Harris, with 15% saying they'd vote Trump. 20% of black male voters said they would cast their ballot for Trump, compared to 70% for Harris. Among black women, 83% said they would vote for Harris and 12% said they would vote for Trump. So this is, my friends, apocalyptic. They have eroded so massively that the only thing they can do is offer up free money. Hey, this trend has been visible for years now. We have this one from, you can look up the stories going way back. We have this from Gallup from February of this year. And they show that right now, non-Hispanic black adults, 66% are leaning Democratic, 19% Republican. Now, that means there's a lot of people saying, I'm unaffiliated. But you know what I think is happening? Young people are tired of being lied to. Young men, it doesn't matter if they're black. The reason why we're seeing this shift among young black men is because we're seeing this shift among young men in general. Fact, Gen Z guys and millennial guys are pushing towards the Republican Party. So it doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, white, Asian, whatever. You see these videos. I can't remember who we were talking to. They said that doing the man on the street interviews, not a single black person ever said, black guy they talked to was going to vote for Harris. The women for sure, but the men are like, no way. And I wonder how much of this is just guys being guys and being like, I ain't voting for her. The craziest thing I've heard, though, it's not actually crazy, but it's kind of, well, it is what it is I've heard with these man on the street interviews, a lot of these guys are like, I ain't voting for a woman. I know women who are like, I'm not voting for a woman. Kamala, I don't think she can pull it off. And that's why you got these white dudes for Harris. Yeah, it's like, listen, guys, men should vote for Harris. And then you got the hair. I'm a man. I'm not afraid of a woman. Because they know men don't want to vote for a woman. Dude, I'm sorry. Let's talk about stereotypes and reality. Let me just say this. Whether it's true or not, the stereotype is that guys think women are nuts. That's the stereotype, right? Obviously, not every single woman is crazy, but guys, what is it? There's this really funny bit I heard where a comedian said, who was it who said this? She said, I saw it on Instagram. When you start living your life understanding that men are delusional and that women are crazy, everything becomes better. And I was like, actually nailed it, right? Every guy, not every single guy, but a lot of guys are like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. They have the confidence. They're delusional. They're not really the best, but that's the drive that motivates them, right? And then every woman is crazy and, because they're emotional or whatever it may be. But it's funny because they're stereotypes. But she was like, then you can everything gets better. You understand what's going to happen. I thought that was pretty funny. So think about these guys. It's like, I'm smart. I don't need to take nothing from nobody. That's why they say men are more disagreeable. And then you end up with guys being, I ain't voting for a woman. And that's what we're seeing. Now, I don't know how that translates to black men. It's men in general. This is going to be really interesting to see what the results end up being. Now, there's shadow campaign, there's ballot harvesting. I hope Republicans are prepared for that. But, it's going to get wild. And we got 3 weeks. Smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know, put this video up, do what you can. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. You can become a member at timcast.com. Thank you all so much. Leave us a good review if you're listening on the audio side. 5 stars, baby. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see y'all in the next segment.